RJ Barrett, who I really want to focus on because RJ Barrett, I think, makes a lot of sense for the Lakers. I also think there's an argument to be made to get him over an Andrew Wiggins, and I don't think the price would be very different. One kind of thing is, would the Toronto Raptors still look to trade RJ Barrett? Now, they were shopping Barrett, but they were doing so under Ujiri, right? So maybe things have changed since then. But if he kind of does get shopped around and look to be available again, if I'm the Lakers, he's the kind of guy that I would maybe look, because again, gives you a lot of the same things that you'd be looking for in an Andrew Wiggins. Versatility, on and off ball, give you off ball shooting, give you self-creation, make plays for others, rebound, defend multiple positions, play multiple positions. He's a guy that you could slot in 2, 3, even on occasion, small ball lineups of 4. Like, the contracts are nearly identical. RJ Barrett's making $27.7 million. Wiggins making $28 million. And then you look at next season, right? Andrew Wiggins making 29 and some change. RJ Barrett's making 29 and some change, right? And RJ Barrett lines up just like Andrew Wiggins in that like cap preservation of 2027, which the Lakers are trying to preserve the cap space. So you give him a new contract, things fall out. RJ Barrett's also younger, right? At this season he's 25 as opposed to Andrew Wiggins, who he's not old, but he's still 30, right? So you have a couple extra years with him. And even the defensive ratings and stuff, right? The defensive versatility. Andrew Wiggins last year was a 113.5 defensive rating, right? RJ Barrett was a 115.5. Now, obviously 2-point difference is still a 2-point difference. It's a major difference, but you got to keep in mind in context. One guy was on Toronto. The other guy was on teams like the Golden State Warriors, who were really good defensively all season, and then go to Miami, which, they've been a team that can get after it defensively, right? Better than Toronto, right? So RJ Barrett going to a team like the Lakers where he has to buy in more on the defensive side of things. Like, I think that he would have that. I think he'd be able to kind of give you what you'd be looking for in that regard. At RJ Barrett, he's a career 114.7. He's had some bad years. He's had some good years. He had a year where he was a 110.4. If we get closer to that, that was with the Knicks. But point is, he's a guy that, again, gives you some defensive versatility, just like Andrew Wiggins. He is similar in price, but he's also younger, right? And a guy that still makes sense and kind of provide a lot of the same things. Also, again, maybe you can, in the process, get an Abaji, right? Lakers are reluctant to give up the first for Andrew Wiggins, right? Supposedly, Miami wants Rui Hachimura, Dalton Connect, and a first-round pick in order to acquire, an Andrew Wiggins, right? Well, if you could I would rather do the same package and go get an RJ Barrett, if that's possible. Obviously, it depends on, what does his market look like and shape up. But how much different is his market going to be than Andrew Wiggins, right? Maybe a little bit more because he's younger, but our team's really breaking the bank and running to go get an RJ Barrett? Probably not. Right? To me, I think RJ Barrett is a good alternative to an Andrew Wiggins if we could get RJ Barrett for Rui Connect and a first, or Andrew Wiggins for Rui Connect and a first, rather take RJ Barrett. I think there are arguments to be made either way. Andrew Wiggins is a guy that has the experience. He's been and won an NBA championship. He was a huge component he was so good in that championship run that, there was arguments about him winning the finals MVP. Now, that was kind of more of a fluke run because he's never done anything close to that before, and he's never done anything close to that after, right? Since. So, you're talking about two guys that, from a stats perspective to a contract perspective to, production, you look at RJ Barrett. Last year averaged 21.1 points per game, 6.3 rebounds, and 5.4 assists while shooting 47% from the floor, right? That's really good. You look at Andrew Wiggins, 18 points, 4.5 rebounds, 2.6 assists while shooting 44.8% from the floor. So basically 45%. So RJ Barrett's giving you more points, rebounds, and assists on better shooting percentage, right? Both guys, are 6'7" in size and length and whatnot. RJ Barrett gives you that on-ball production, that off-ball production, a guy that can do both, a guy that can go get you buckets, but also defend multiple positions and play multiple positions. And also, if he's on a team like the Lakers, he's likely going to give you better production. Going over RJ Barrett's stats. 58 games, 32.2 minutes per game, shot 46.8% from the field. He shot 35% from three-point range. Free throw shooting was really a struggle for him last year. He only shot 63% from the free throw line, which is not great. But from rebounding perspective, like I said, 6.3, assists 5.4, half a steal, or sorry, a full steal, half a block, and 21.1 points per game, right? So again, he's giving you good production, right? He's giving you the things that you're looking for in the manner of like offensive production, defensive versatility, can make plays, can rebound the basketball, give you a little bit of everything out there, but he's also young enough to be a player long term, right? He's young enough to be a piece that can come in, contribute, play a role, right? Be like, if you go and get a small forward, say you want to go after this season, right? Say LeBron departs, right? You could go with something like a RJ Barrett or let's say you make the trade. Here's a better example. Say Lakers go and pull off a trade for a Giannis Antetokounmpo or a Nikola Jokic. One, if you can keep RJ Barrett, beautiful, because now you can slot him in. But two, they might be more inclined to do that trade because now you got an Austin Reeves, you got an RJ Barrett, you have multiple first-round picks that you could trade, you have multiple pick swaps that you can now trade. So now you just have a much more appealing package, right? Rather than like, even like an Andrew Wiggins, say you're going to go and make that trade. It's like, okay, well, you could have this 31-year-old, or you could take this 25, well, at the time, 26-year-old on top of, Austin Reeves, who's similar age. And now you have two like kind of building blocks, especially for a team like, Milwaukee that can't bottom out. Like they can't fully bottom out. It's like, hey, here's Austin Reeves and RJ Barrett to kind of help, keep you good and competitive and give you flexibility. And here's some picks and other things. So you go make other trades and other moves. Same thing with the Nikola Jokic, right? You could go do something like that. But let's say you do miss out on those guys. All right, let's say you miss out on Giannis, you miss out on Jokic. You still have RJ Barrett, who could slot in at the 2, the 3, or even the 4 in some occasions, right? More 2, 3 for you. But, if you end up looking to trade in Austin Reeves at some point, right? You could, now you could trade Austin Reeves and just slide RJ Barrett to the 2, go with like a Vando at the 3, or, a Dude Thero, right? Or maybe that's what you're doing. Maybe you're going like Luka Doncic, RJ Barrett, a Dude Thero, Jared Vanderbilt, or Jared Vanderbilt, Dude Thero, and then a DeAndre Ayton for you, right? Like, if you tell me you have RJ Barrett, Luka Doncic, and DeAndre Ayton, let's say as your core, right? And then Austin Reeves, we'll see what they end up doing with Austin Reeves. They probably keep Austin Reeves, but let's say they keep Austin Reeves. Okay, fine. So let's do it like that. Say Luka, Austin Reeves, right? A Dude Thero, RJ Barrett, and Jake LaRavia potentially, and then a DeAndre Ayton. That's a really good core and foundation for now and the future. It's really good foundation to be a regular competitive championship contending roster year in and year out, right? And have the support alongside Luka Doncic